Let's just go over some of the potential changes that could happen. Of course, stricter immigration policies. What can that look like, right? Increased visa and residency requirements, potentially making it harder to gain legal residency. Now, listen, this is all speculative. We don't know what's going to happen, but we've already heard the word retaliation one too many times, right? Once from, Mexico, once from Canada. These retaliatory tariffs may turn into retaliatory visas or residency approvals. And we're going to get into that in a second. But yes, stricter immigration policies can happen. And what I've also been seeing, I don't think I put this in my notes, but what I have been seeing is that people are getting denied for things that they wouldn't have gotten denied for. A lot has to do with the influx of applications, right? There has been, and if you're in any of these groups, you see there is an influx. These consulates are swamped. So think about it. They're not only swamped with the visa process for people, Americans who want to, move there, become immigrants in their country. They're also dealing with the immigrants in this country that are now left out there to figure it out, do I need to go back to my country? I've been here working, I have a family. They are dealing with their own national citizens as well. So these offices are swamped. And so the fact that people are being denied for things like super strict things, and I don't want to go through the list, but there are strict things that would not have gotten you a denial in the past that I am hearing and reading are, people are being denied for. Now, each consulate is different. You could right now go to different consulates and one may be strict, the other one may be not so strict, right? But you have to definitely do your own due diligence and figure out which one works for your needs, whatever your needs are. But yeah, there could be stricter requirements and policies. There also could be new barriers for residency put into place. Listen. Oh, and when it gets to stricter immigration policies, I almost forgot this. The processing times. You know how we talked about staying ready with getting our passports because the processing times can at any minute double, triple, quadruple with the State Department, the Department of State. It's the same that can happen with the immigration going into Mexico and or Canada. Longer processing times can squash your dreams, right? If you, and we're not just talking about a couple weeks, it could be a couple years. It could be, we don't know what that could look like. And so you know what, this is not going to be a speculative conversation. We'll have a speculative conversation on Thursday at our flawless meetup, our private meetup. But I do believe that there are some things behind the scenes that could be going on. But yeah, longer processing times, higher fees. Right now, to apply here in the US, it's only what, $54, 54 US dollars just for your application fee here in the US. Now, when you get to the other side, depending on what visa you're or what residency you're completing, if it's temporary, if it's permanent, how many people, if you use a what they call a facilitator, that can, be additional money. But let's just say all in all, you're not going to spend, I won't say you're not going to spend. Let's just say you can do it for a few $100s, right? A couple $100s. That doesn't include your travel arrangements, but just the process. They can make that so that one, the application fee here could be several $100s. The application fee on the other side could be several $1,000s. We just don't know. And that's how they can offset. Also, if they decide to minimize the number of approvals, they can offset it by the higher costs. And people are so they're so desperately trying to leave that listen, we don't know what's going to happen. Let's just say that. So, new barriers to residency is another way that things can change if the two countries become adversarial and there is retribution, right? If there is retribution from the Canadian government or the Mexican government against the United States government, or the United States citizens, I should say, who want to expatriate or become immigrants in other countries, that can be barriers can be put into place that will affect us. So what does that look like? They may limit the number of Americans allowed to gain residency, both permanent and temporary, and also citizenship, because there are some people that want to become citizens in both of those countries. They can limit those numbers. Right now, if you see what I see, it just seems like it's an endless flow of residency cards being, passed around. There's no like, oh, these are our last 200 residency cards. No, it seems like an endless flow, especially in Mexico. They can also put in place more stringent scrutiny for work permits or for family reunification applications. That's another way to get residency. So work permits and and be adjusted or readjusted and continue to be adjusted. And so again, right now, everything's status quo, good to go for both countries. We just don't know what that's going to look like. And again, I have my theory on why certain things may turn out this way. And I'll just say one thing: a lot of our money, our retirement money, our SSI money, our pension money, is when we leave, it leaves with us. Even though you may have a US bank account, you're spending a good majority of your money outside of the country. And so, so that could be an issue. Let's talk about reciprocal restrictions. So the stricter the policies for especially Mexicans, but even Canadians, if the US starts to impose stricter policies for both Canadians who want to become United States residents or citizens or immigrants, the same with Mexico, if they want to, which they have shown that that's what they want, if they want to impose stricter regulations for for Mexicans, then guess what? Both Mexico and Canada can also impose stricter policies for applicants, including, like we said, including residency caps, the amount of people that can get residency, and higher rejection rates. And that could be just to say, you may get caught up in that window. And so before that starts to happen, again, I think there was a divine reason why in November I started urging people. Now, I have been talking about getting residency since 2022 in Mexico. I started putting together these resource guides to help you out back in November to make the process smoother. And I started upping my consultation availability to help people out with insider information to get approval and also get access to people who can help you on the other side. But I started talking about this a long time ago. So the rejection rates right now, I do see on the Mexican side, like I mentioned earlier, a little spike for simplistic, basic things. Now, this is the thing about it, though. Some people are getting rejected in one consulate and then the next day or the next week go to another consulate and get approved. So it's not like once you get rejected in one consulate, you can't get approved. It's just extra work, right? It's extra money, it's extra time, but it's not like it's not like here, the US, right? It's not like the immigrants who had appointments to get their residency or their immigration card or whatever, and they're put on pause. It's not like they could go someplace else and finalize it. No, everything's on pause. Well, my links are in the description. So If you want my help, the links are there. There's also, like I said, the affordable guidebooks to get you started. I just put the link in there. So if you get the From Here to There resource guide and the Mexican residency, they're both, I think, under $20, like together, like both of them separately together. It's a bundle. And they all have clickable links. So you don't even have to do the research. Like, you just click on the link and it takes you to the consulate you want to go to. If you want to check out another consulate and their requirements, there's links there for that. Whole bunch of information in there. So I put the link there. You can go ahead and get that while it's on a bundle deal.